If I woke up tomorrow 30 pounds overweight, here's the exact 7 numbers I'd follow to lose it fast. Most people make the same mistake. They try to change everything. They cut carbs, skip meals, add a ton of cardio, cancel their social plans. That's not discipline. That's just chaos, making things unnecessarily difficult. Instead, I'd use a 12-10-8, 4-3-2-1 reset protocol. It's the same structure I use to lose 30 pounds in 14 weeks, and the same framework thousands of high-performing professionals have followed over the last decade. What's going to surprise you is how simple this is, and none of it is extreme. Okay, so 12. 12 is for weeks and calories. So you want to give yourself at least 12 weeks at the minimum. Give yourself a quarter, and it's probably going to take longer than that, but it's going to give you the right mindset to think about when it comes to your transformation. Now, calories refers to 12 calories per pound body weight. So you want to get your body weight in pounds, times that by 12, and that'll give you a total calorie intake for the day. This tends to be the sweet spot for fat loss. Unless you're over 220 pounds, then I like to go with 10 calories per pound. And in those calories, you want to focus on high volume, whole foods, single ingredient items. So you can focus on maximizing your satiety and then adjust the calorie amount accordingly, depending on how your body reacts. If it's working well, keep it as it is. If it's not, then you may need to make some adjustments if you check for adherence. So check first if you're doing it right. All being well, then you might need to make some calorie adjustments. But the key thing is not to make any big, extreme, radical drops. Just a side note on the 12, I know I said 12 weeks, but if you take a 12-month approach, you're guaranteeing yourself to not only focus on getting into the best shape of your life, where you drop those 30 pounds, but you'll give yourself the time frame to think about how to stay in shape and keep the 30 pounds off, so you never have to watch a video like this again. The 10 is for 10,000 steps. So I'd hit 10,000 steps a day as a non-negotiable to protect your deficit without mental strain. What steps help contribute to is your NEAT, your non-energy activity thermogenesis, which is just your day-to-day activity. Now, if you're watching this video and you've just checked your average step count and you've noticed it's less than 3,000, and that's okay, I see that all the time, then just focus on increasing your steps by 4,000, which is about 30 minutes in the day. That'll make the jump to 10,000 in the future a lot simpler. So increase your steps by 4,000 for a couple of weeks. Once you've got the hang of that, then you can get up to 10,000. Now here's the key thing. Walking isn't just calorie deficit. It's stress regulation. It helps stabilize your appetite. It improves your mood. We all know how great it feels after a 20, 30, 40-minute walk. You come home, everything feels better, feels easier, you feel less stressed, you feel more relaxed. That's the power of walking. So don't just think of it as I'm walking to burn calories. Think of it as you're walking to improve your mental health, your performance, and your day-to-day living. Now, easy ways to get this in is some of my favorites are walking calls, so taking more calls on the go, whether that's catching up with your mates or meetings at work. Now, for meetings at work, a really good strategy I like and recommend it often with people is walk pads. So you buy yourself a walk pad, stick it under the desk. It doesn't take up too much space, and it allows you to get loads of steps in whilst you're doing either meetings or low-level admin stuff. I've not seen it to be the best for deep work and really creative projects, but for admin and calls, it's great. Another strategy I really like is 10-minute walks after your meals. You pin your walk to a meal, and then as soon as you're finished, you go for a 10-minute walk. Helps with digestion, but more than anything, helps with the habit formation of walking. 8 is for 8 hours sleep. Now, where possible, you want to focus as much as you can on getting those 8 hours sleep, because if sleep's poor, everything else just gets harder. You tend to have less discipline, less willpower, higher hunger hormones, worse recovery, poor evening control, more 9 p.m. cravings. We all know the benefits of sleep, right? But if you want to drop 30 pounds as fast and as sustainably as possible, then getting your sleep in order is going to be key. One of the biggest benefits of a really good night's sleep is it recharges the decision battery. We all know willpower is finite. You only have a certain amount of good decisions to make in the day. And if you are draining it all through the day and you're not getting a good night's sleep, you're never going to have that full decision battery that's going to allow you to navigate work, kids, social, travel, all the different parts of being a high performer, and also your body. So we want to have that decision battery nice and high at the start of each day. The only caveat I give to this point is if you've got young kids. So I've got a near 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. My sleep isn't always the best. I might be waking up a couple times in the night, and that's just the reality of being a parent. So as much as I have every intention to have 8 hours of sleep unbroken every night, it just doesn't happen. So what I like to do is set a 1-hour window that I can commit to every single night. And I set an alarm each day to shut everything off, create a bit of a hard stop, and get myself to bed. And that can be really effective for developing circadian rhythm, getting your body used to a certain time, and as a result, improving the quality of your sleep. By the way, if you're watching this and you want all the thinking taken out for you, you want 100% customization for your busy lifestyle with world-class coaching and accountability to guide you to the best shape of your life and make sure you actually get the 30 pounds off and keep it off, then fill in an application in the description below where we can see if it's a good fit to work with my team at R&T Fitness. The next up is 4 training sessions in the week. So 4 sessions, 3 strength training and 1 cardiovascular at the bare minimum. And these can be 4 45-minute sessions. If you're really strapped for time, it can be 4 30-minute sessions and you'll still get great results. We've seen it over and over again with many different members having different lifestyles and yet still achieving amazing things on 2.5 hours a week. Now, the key here is they're not random workouts. We're not doing crazy high intensity interval training. We're doing strength training for muscle mass and building your body. And we're doing cardiovascular training for building heart health, cardiovascular capacity, and burning a few extra calories. Remember, fat loss without strength training is only going to result in a smaller, softer version of you. So we want to keep those 3 strength training sessions as non-negotiables in the diary. Now, this can be done at home, or it can be done in the gym. It doesn't really matter. All you need is the ability to make progression over time, and you're good as gold. Okay, next up is 3 pinned meals. Now, what this refers to is 3 fixed meal times where you decide in advance what times you're going to eat, what you're going to eat there. The really important bit here is the timing, because what this eliminates is grazing, snacking, picking a bit of the kids' food here, having a bit of a biscuit at work that you might see laying out, or just picking up a snack as you go past this shop. We want to cut all the snacking out, and that's what this rule really represents. Now, what this helps prevent is late night blowouts, energy crashes, more decision fatigue, because the truth is, as nice and as great as it sounds, intuitive eating doesn't work. It requires a lot of nutritional knowledge, a lot of advanced experience in health and fitness. And for most people, intuitive eating is a disaster waiting to happen, because if you're left to your own devices and your feelings as to what you should eat when, the chances are you're going to make a bad one. Because here's the reality. Let's say you're stressed at work, you've rushed off your feet, you've been pumping on adrenaline all day long. The chance of you wanting to naturally eat a clean meal of chicken, rice, and broccoli is probably going to be pretty low. The chance of you wanting a coffee, maybe some sweets, is going to be pretty high. If you do hear someone saying that they're intuitive eating, all that's happening is after years and years of specific habits, it's become so ingrained into their brain that they can intuitively follow a good, healthy nutrition plan. I often say I'm doing it. Reality is I'm following 3 pinned meals a day, protein at each meal, good quality vegetables, carbohydrates, fats. And if you were to compare what I'm intuitively guessing with what's actually on the plate, it'd be pretty close. Next up, 2 liters of water a day. Now, I'm not going to bore you on the benefits of water, but in this context of this specific video, it's appetite control, energy stability, cognitive clarity, all that great stuff. Now, here's the thing. If you're slightly dehydrated, it's going to make it a lot harder to focus. And more than anything, you're going to feel a bit more cravings than you would normally expect. One thing I like to say to people is you're not hungry, you're thirsty. You'd be surprised how many of you might be watching this video thinking, oh, I need a bit of a snack in the afternoon. I always have cravings at specific times. Sometimes it could be because you just haven't structured your meals in the day well. Other times you could literally just be because you're thirsty. And what you really need is a glass of 500 milliliters of water. And that will solve that feeling of hunger or craving that you might have. So next time you think you're hungry, ask if you're thirsty instead. Now, a good way to check if you are hydrated or not is to look at the color of your urine and check your pee. If it's looking yellow, dark yellow, light brown, then you need to seriously drink some water. Good sign that you're hydrated is it's light in color and it's odorless. Last but not least, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. The rule is simple. At every meal, make sure there's a source of protein on there. Protein will help with satiety to make the journey of losing 30 pounds easy, but also help with muscle retention and potentially a bit of muscle building. Now, if you're not sure what to eat, there's plenty of protein options. So if you're a meat eater, you've got chicken, turkey, lean lamb, steak, salmon, fish, plenty of options. If you're vegan or vegetarian, you could pick from, depending on which one you are, tofu, tempeh, Greek yogurt, eggs, any sort of soy, so edamame, spaghetti is great, protein powders. There's a bunch of different options now. So that's a wrap. That's a 12-10-8, 4-3-2-1 protocol. No detoxes, no extremes, no supplements, just clear structure. If you do this consistently, losing 30 pounds will become very simple. And if you want a deeper breakdown on how to customize this to your body weight and lifestyle, watch this next.